Now, I'm not one of those individuals who likes to say to people, I told you so. But in the case of Donald Trump and the way that MAGA, Republicans, the GOP are turning on him, I want to say, I told you guys so. Trust me, if you've been locked into this channel from the very beginning, so many of the things that it is that I have said, that a lot of you guys have said in the comment section, are now coming true, and Republicans and MAGA are starting to see it for themselves. In this clip, we are going to see, I believe her name is Norah Lee Nutson. She's a Republican commentator. She's a Catholic and she's a Republican strategist as well. We're going to see her live on air turn on Donald Trump. And then in the second segment of the video, we're going to see a clinical psychologist diagnose Donald Trump on air, because we know that Donald Trump is mentally unwell. As usual, let's watch the clip in full, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts towards the end. Let's get into it.
Can I put to you that you will be aware the president won Catholics by a 12-point margin in the last election there. Now, 52% of Catholics disapprove of him, and that was prior to yesterday. Where do you stand? Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Yes, I am Catholic, and there are 77 million Catholics in the U.S. There are 1.4 billion globally. As we know, there are 2.4 billion Christians globally. But first and foremost, I am a human being, and his threats to annihilate an entire civilization of 90 million people that the Pope rightly spoke out against as unacceptable. I went further and said it was unconscionable that the leader of the free world would speak in such a way. It is an embarrassment to Americans like myself who voted for him, not only as a Catholic, but he has abandoned his voters. And he recently came out and said he's delivered on the promises that he made to his voters. Well, he is lying. He had said no new wars, no forever wars, and he got us into a war that I believe as a Republican was an illegal war, was not a war that we voted for. And the Pope has spoken about the gospel being a message of peace, being a message of using dialogue to bring about peace. And what have we seen from our president is when there is diplomacy, when there is dialogue, and we're trying to put a deal together with Iran, we go and we strike. And the real debate here is about peace, not using war to try to bring about peace in the region. It is going to only end up worse for the entire world.
So here's the thing, Norah Lee. I'm an Anglican, Church of England. I don't profess my faith as much as I should, but I do have a faith, and I find it wholly repulsive and repugnant,
Yes.
that image. Speaking as a committed Roman Catholic, explain how
Yes.
you react to, for the benefit of my listeners who might not be Catholics themselves. Well, actually, my late dad was a Catholic, by the way. But anyway, go on, Norah Lee.
Yes, the image is offensive. It's blasphemous. Clearly, he is not there as a doctor. My niece is a doctor. What do you wear? You wear scrubs. It's usually a blue outfit. And as you said, a stethoscope. He knows that that image was offensive. And at least by taking it down, I think there is an admission of guilt there. We know President Trump is not good at acknowledging when he has made mistakes. But I believe that getting into this war with Iran, believing that they would capitulate in a few days, they would not close the Strait of Hormuz, was a gross miscalculation on Trump's part. And I believe he knows that. He is not an idiot. And he knows that we are worse off morally, economically, and in terms of our soft power and our relationships globally. He has squandered that all with this war in Iran. And now he's got an exit ramp through this ceasefire. And I am praying, just like all Catholics, and I think most people I know are praying, that we will find a resolution in this 2-week ceasefire.
Finally, put your political strategist hat on as a Republican commentator. I'm assuming you voted for Trump. I'd be amazed if you didn't last time. How much pain could be coming the way of your very, very great party later this year in the so-called midterms? Norah Lee.
Undoubtedly, a tremendous amount of pain is going to be coming for the Republican Party.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support, and only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor, making people better. And I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
What is the one thing, if your child says, Mummy, Daddy, or if you want to dress as a doctor for a fancy dress party, what is the one thing you would use? That would be a stethoscope. That's the kind of clue, isn't it? Then maybe a name badge and a pager or whatever it might be. No stethoscope for Trump. Rather, I would suggest divine-like robes with the clouds parting behind him. I say again, you can see it for yourself on lbc.co.uk or the LBC app. Clouds parting behind him, a glowing light in his left hand, and him administering with his right hand on the forehead of someone who's clearly in pain or distress, and rays of sunshine emanating from his actions. Yeah, the last time a doctor treated me, that's exactly what happened. The clouds parted, and American bald eagles and Marines came flying in behind him. I remember it well. But let's look at the, can I say, emotional health aspect of this. Dr. Marian Trent is a clinical psychologist, hosts the Psychology Actually podcast. Let's divorce ourselves from this particular instance. But if a patient presents him or herself to you, presents themselves to you, suggesting that they have some kind of divine powers, what does it say of them? Good morning.
Hi, thanks for having me. Well, it's kind of one of the screens that you would do if you were assessing whether someone was grandiose or having a psychotic kind of breakdown. Have you got any beliefs that you are Jesus, or you've got kind of these omnipotent powers? It's kind of one of the basic questions that you get taught in kind of when you're working in mental health. But outside of working in psychosis services, it doesn't crop up super often, I have to say.
Typically, what else does a patient like that exhibit?
So, impulsivity, I think we're definitely seeing some of that. Not being able to kind of listen to reason, or kind of not wanting to come away from their own train of thought, believing that they are right. It depends what presentation we're discussing. Sometimes there's impulsivity with spending money, with doing things that are difficult to undo, with not having that insight.
How do you work alongside, or help guide the decisions of someone who thinks they're the Messiah?
I think lots of people would be resigning, right? I
mean, I've had some tricky bosses. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was tough working for Mr. Murdoch, but it's nowhere near what it must be like working for President Trump.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You need to have faith in your leader and to think that they are fair. You will be treated fairly. It's really important as being a human that we're able to feel that sense of safety.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to leave that there. I will leave a link to the full exchange in the description below so you can go ahead and check that out. But I want to be really kind of straight with you guys now. And this isn't something that I do on a regular basis, but honestly, MAGA are the most embarrassing individuals on earth. Grape, racism, Islamophobia. Those three things wasn't the breaking points for these individuals, for these cultists. It wasn't the breaking point. What the breaking point was is Donald Trump depicting himself as Jesus Christ. That in of itself is an absolute embarrassment. And do you know what the funny thing is? Did you see when the Republican strategist, Norah Lee Nutson, when she tried to even defend Donald Trump, even when she herself knows that he's wrong? Taking it down means absolutely nothing, because the fact that he puts it up gives us insight to how it is that he thinks. And I want you guys to think of this. If Donald Trump was the person who posted that late at night, if we go back to the video he put up depicting the Obamas as monkeys, well, what would be the difference? He put it up late at night. The person the staffer who supposedly posted it and put it up hasn't been named, and we don't even know if they've been sacked. The reason as to why is because guess what? It was Donald Trump who posted it. But this shouldn't shock anyone. It shouldn't have shocked anyone at all. Republicans, MAGA, this should not be a shock. People like me, people like you guys that watch this channel, we know this is who he is. And you know the most interesting part for me about it, above all, is this. For so long, they tried to paint this guy out as a Christian, as a man of God, as a Messiah sent by God to do God's work. But literally, look at what it is that he posted. Blasphemy. blasphemy from the man who is supposedly a man of God. Never Trumpers like me. We already knew this is who he is. And there's no shock here. But it's just interesting to see all these people that are now turning around and they're now clutching their pearls. It's blasphemous. It's wholly repulsive. It's offensive. All of these things. This is who Donald Trump is. He's been offensive. He's been an embarrassment for years. But why didn't you think he was offensive and repulsive when he was doing the racism? Why didn't you think that when he was doing the Islamophobia? Why didn't you do that when he was saying vile things about grabbing women by their private parts? Why didn't you think that then? Why is it that now, only since he's attacked your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, now he's all of those things? Honestly, it's damning that that's the only thing that made you realize this is who Donald Trump is. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this exchange down in the comment section below. While you guys are down there, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Also, hype up the video as well. And if you're interested in a perspective from the outside looking in, from a Brit that lives over the pond, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next clip.